Today we're going to talk about Cody Ford and why he was not chosen by the Houston Texans like everybody thought he would be, and all that's coming up after the bumper.
What do you mean you don't subscribe to my son's YouTube channel?
Mama, no!
Just snap the damn ball, RJ.
What's up, kid folk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always OU related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time, and today we're going to talk about Cody Ford and why he was not selected in the first round when there was a run on offensive linemen. But first, Oklahoma makes history. Now, you know about Kyler Murray. You know that Oklahoma becomes the first football program in history to have quarterbacks selected #1 overall in back-to-back drafts. Add to that, both of those guys are Heisman Trophy winners, and you get to where Lincoln Riley has the recruiting pitch to destroy all recruiting pitches going forward. To say nothing of now, Oklahoma has 8 first-round draft picks since 2010. That's ridiculous. As a matter of fact, I made fun of the Oklahoma State Cowboys football account when it said, hey, we have the most first-round draft picks since 2009, and they neglected to mention that they were a tie with OU since 2009, where Oklahoma had 6, and now with Kyler Murray going #1 and then Marquise Brown going number 22 to the Baltimore Ravens, the one prediction I did get correct, now you got 8 for Oklahoma. That's a really big deal. So if you're an offensive player, you got to believe that Oklahoma needs to be in play for you. Now, when there were a run on tackles, and this was a very deep defensive draft, you saw Jonah Williams go number 11 to Cincinnati in the Bengals. You saw Bradbury go. You saw other guys that you thought weren't necessarily the same caliber of offensive lineman as Cody Ford go in the draft, and still there were other guys that never got selected that I thought were pretty good. Guys like Greg Little, guys like Jawan Taylor, and of course Cody Ford. And then the shocker, not only do they not go with Cody Ford at number 23, the Houston Texans, to protect Deshaun White, who was obliterated last year, they picked a guy that might be an heir apparent to Lane Johnson when we're talking about his athleticism. Titus Howard played quarterback in high school, went to Alabama State as a tight end, ended up being a tackle, and now we're talking about that guy being a first-round draft pick and making history for them as the most highly rated draft pick in Alabama State history. Previously, it had been a guy in 1981 by the name of Curtis Green who went like number 46 overall. So big things popping for that dude. And if you can find a Lane Johnson type of player, you got to go get him. I mean, Lane Johnson was out there destroying everything we thought and knew about the athleticism at that position. He's turned into an outstanding football player coming out of Oklahoma. Now, there's a lot of folks that are upset because they're like, yo, Cody Ford was the best available player there at that position. I'm going, maybe to some, but it just felt like it was a really good fit based on the way that he had played under Bill Bedenbaugh at Oklahoma. And remember, he only had 1 year at the position, played very well though, and this was supposed to be a very deep draft for Oklahoma in that you're going to have 4 out of 5 offensive linemen from last year, and all 4 eligible offensive linemen from last year eventually get drafted, or that's the thought. And then when you got Cody Ford still on the board in the second round, you're thinking somebody's going to get a lot of value there, and somebody's going to look really smart taking him in the second, third, fourth round, what have you. And we're also talking about $12 million that Cody Ford does not earn, and that goes into Howard's pocket because it comes with it also like a $6.8 million signing bonus. And I understand that there's a lot of folks, particularly watching this channel, who are lamenting Cody Ford not being drafted in the first round, if for no other reason than you want to see 3 guys from Oklahoma get drafted in the first round. I think Cody Ford's going to be fine. I think that, yes, millions of dollars still on the table, and now taken off the table if you're Cody Ford. But still, you got to come out looking really good, because no matter how you slice it, Cody Ford blocked for the Heisman Trophy winner and the #1 overall draft pick, and a lot of Kyler Murray's accomplishments last year have been attributed to an enormous, awesome physical offensive line in front of him. As a matter of fact, folks were saying it was an unfair advantage and how he had broken records for efficiency and clean pocket passing because his offensive line was so good, making people doubt whether or not Kyler Murray is actually the caliber of quarterback that he seemed to be at Oklahoma. Again, I think this is really good news for Howard. I'm happy for him. I understand why a lot of folks aren't necessarily as excited they wear OU colors, but if you're in it for the stories, if you're in it for the young men who are finally getting their due, who are finally getting paid their market value, you're excited for everybody in this draft. Even Daniel Jones, for my goodness, I still don't know how they're going to defend this with any sort of logic outside of Dave Gettleman says, I watched him at the Senior Bowl, and that looked like a professional out there. And I'm going, yeah, man, okay. So does Dwayne Haskins. So does Drew Lock. So do a number of other guys that you could have taken at that position. I mean, Josh Allen was still on the board, and the Jacksonville Jaguars did the smart thing and took the best available player instead of going with Jawan Taylor like a lot of people thought they would. So there were some surprises here, and NFL gonna NFL. John Gruden taking Cleveland Farrell when it felt like there was a number of guys available at that pass rusher position that he could go take. We'll see how this all pans out. Some of us might look smarter, some of us might look stupider, but the draft was entertaining, and I'm sure that Cody Ford, Rodney Anderson, and a lot of other folks are going to hear their names called eventually over the next couple of days. All right, that's it for me. Doses.